large as like a proper silver plate. For dipping sauce, they do this amazing coriander chutney. Almost all of the places are sober friendly. Oh my god, there's so much to say about it. Hello, my name is Ziwei. This is a little bit different to my other videos, which are mainly vlogs, travel vlogs or vlogs in London. But the rationale behind this is basically I've been posting mini reviews on my Instagram story, like just, you know, for my friends in real life. And I've been doing that for ages, and some of them do really appreciate it and would occasionally even come to me for restaurant recommendations in London. So I thought, why not make a video about a selection of my favourite spots in London that I do still very much visit today. In this video, I'll take you through 5 restaurants, plus a bar for some bonus content, although I don't drink anymore. Almost all of the places are sober friendly, but this will also be a topic that we come back to and touch on as we get through the video and talk about each of them. For each of the recommendation, I will dive into portions and sizes, very important, any must-try dishes, perhaps for a first-time visit. Secondly, the location and any activities in the vicinity that you might want to consider if you're planning a trip to London, as well as any anecdotes that I might have to share, just to give more of a sense of the vibe, the atmosphere, and my experience with the services, which will generally be positive considering this is a selection of my favourite places. And last but not least, the booking process, any tips and tricks that I think would be helpful for you to secure a spot, especially for the more popular ones. We will end with my all-time favourite restaurant in London, so do stick around until the end. Now, without further ado, my first pick is Kricket. Kricket is a modern Indian restaurant that combines working with British ingredients with the aromas and flavours of India. They will have 4 branches around London by March 2025, I'm pretty sure. Very been to the one in Soho and quite recently Canary Wharf. They also have one in Brixton already, and they're opening one very soon next month in Shoreditch, which is really exciting. For both the Soho and Canary Wharf brunch, I've done walk-ins, and because I go solo quite a lot, it's not really a problem, and both times I've been sat at the chef's counter. In general, I do quite enjoy sitting at the bar counter actually, and in the case of Kricket, they have this open kitchen situation, so it's quite nice to see how everything happens. But I would say if you do want a proper table, you would most likely have to book in advance. They do encourage walk-ins, but they are typically very busy during meal times, even on weekdays. Now, I am pretty sure Kricket is one of those restaurants that if you want to book a table, you do need to put down your credit card information. It won't charge you anything if everything goes to plan. It will only charge you for a no-show fee or a late cancellation fee, which means you don't cancel with at least 24 hours of notice. Now, this is a concept that I've stopped to entertain. I do understand that it is sometimes necessary for kitchen prepping work, and restaurants are a business at the end of the day. It's just I've got very spontaneous family and friends, and for myself, walk-ins have always been sufficient, and I don't mind sitting at the bar for a meal. But if you do have control of your schedule and you are more organised than I am, then you can directly book on their website or by the 7 Rooms platform. Now, a funny story, I first visited Kricket, the Soho brunch, and I was sat by myself, and there was this really nice lady from Seattle that sat next to me, and she was by herself as well, and we just got chatting. That was the first time that she introduced me to the phrase golden handcuffs, which is this idea, if you haven't heard, because I think it's quite an American phrase, that you feel trapped in your job, but it pays so well that you don't think you can justify leaving. That happened a month before I quit my job. Not directly related, do with that information what you will, but I just thought it's a funny story, and it goes to show how there's a really friendly atmosphere in Kricket. One of the things that I really love about eating alone is it feels so much easier to chat to people if that's your vibe, than if you're in a group, because everyone just feels confined to chatting with their friends, which is also very normal. You want to chat with your friends. Okay, on to the menu. I don't know why it took me so long to get to this part. I do believe they do breakfast and brunch, but I haven't been myself. I've only ever been for dinner. So for me, what I usually do is I get a small plate, a curry, some naan, a dipping sauce, and a drink. I think that's pretty much it. For dipping sauce, they do this amazing coriander chutney. I really encourage you to try it if you don't mind coriander, which is cilantro. I'm pretty sure they're the same thing, just different places call it different things. It's really refreshing and it pairs really well with a more heavy, rich dish. That combo comes out to be about 35 to 40 pounds altogether, which I think is pretty good value for London. The portion sizes are very decent. With that order, I usually go away with a little takeaway box, which serves really well as a midnight snack. One thing I do want to do is they have those larger plates. I think they have like a whole sea bass or like a 600 gram steak, or some of those larger curry plates. These are just some examples of the larger plates that they do. I haven't got around to trying these because I've always gone by myself. I would really like to try them, and I think I just need to either make more friends or coerce people into taking me on dates there, but I have to say neither are going very well at the moment. I should also address tipping because I think that might be helpful if you're travelling into the UK. So on your bill you'll have a discretionary service charge, which is usually 12.5%, sometimes 15%, sometimes 20%, depending on the location of the restaurant, more or less. And I'd say anything over 20, you don't have to entertain that, but typically, although it's called discretionary, you are expected to pay that, although you won't be expected to tip anything at all over what's presented on your bill. In the UK, the tax is already included on the menu prices. You will have a line item on your bill that says VAT, but that's all included in the final big bold number, and that bold number should also include the discretionary service charge as well. So you just pay whatever that bold number is. You don't need to tip extra on top of that. Also, when you pay, a card machine is brought to you. You don't need to, they don't take your card away. It still makes me feel uneasy when I have to do that in the US, but I think I just need to learn to trust people more. Alright, moving on to number 2, Senõr Ceviche. Okay, I probably completely said that really weirdly. It's just how I say it in my mind. It's a Peruvian restaurant. This is located in Kingly Court, just off of Carnaby Street. I will talk more about Kingly Court in general. It's this really nice hidden away food court situation in a really busy, lively area. So there are so many choices, and it has a range from like more fast food to slightly more high-end upscale, and there's also a jazz bar, which I'll talk about, but let's focus on the Peruvian restaurant first. The general vibe, I'd say, is more like busy, lively. They've got quite loud music. It's really popular for people to grab a drink with like colleagues after work, because the location is really central. I could see people go on a date there, but it might be slightly more towards the friendly end of the spectrum. Like, so if you have like really intimate dating places and friendly, more relaxed, chilled, it's definitely towards this side of the spectrum. The whole restaurant space is not very large, so I would encourage you to book ahead of time. I don't think you need to put down your credit card or anything at all, if memory serves. In terms of the dishes, they do recommend 2 to 3 dishes per person, just because it's tapas size. If you are looking for a meal, I think they're only open at midday, but they carry on until dinner. They don't close in the middle. So I have gone in the afternoon and just ordered 1 tapas and a drink, and I don't see a problem at all if you only get a drink either. It's just I don't drink alcohol anymore, and I love a nibble. So if I just need somewhere to rest my feet as I'm going around the Soho, Carnaby, or even Piccadilly area, I can see myself going there. Just from their name, their seafood ceviche is very nice. I'd really encourage you to try. I mean, it's a signature Peruvian dish and it's not going to deviate too much from what you imagine, but it's still just a really solid, nice dish. They do a ceviche, I'm pretty sure. I think if you're not going too heavy on the drinking, then I'd say anywhere between 25 to 40 pounds. Very doable, easy breezy, a good time. Now I know I said I'd talk about a bar in Kingly Court and it's called the Nightjar. It's like a semi-speakeasy bar. It's like along the alleyway as you just enter Kingly Court, and also you have to walk downstairs. Nightjar has multiple locations across London as well, I think 2 or 3. They have one in Shoreditch for sure, but I've only been to the one at Carnaby. And they have live music on. If you go on their website, the timings of when the music comes on, etc, is very, very, very clear, which I love. From memory, but don't quote me on this, I think the music starts at maybe 9, but you can start getting tables from like 7:30, 8. You can also see who are performing. There's always a gig on for sure every single night, but it's just a matter of like on some days they'll get more like slightly more famous people in. Extremely hard to book, especially if you're looking at a Friday or a Saturday night. Oh my god, you have to book weeks in advance. And it is also one of those places where you have to put a credit card down, I'm pretty sure. You also don't have to book, you can just queue outside. They do open until very late, so it could be a really nice, I don't know, second, third spot of the night if you're having like a big going out night. They're very famous for their cocktails. So good, genuinely. I went when I was still drinking, but I went with a friend and he did not drink at all, so he got like a couple of mocktails, and it's all the drinks, like alcoholic or non-alcoholic, tasted so good. They're so creative. The presentations are like 12 out of 10. I think I ordered an espresso martini or something of the sort, and it came in this pipe shape. On one end is the foam and you drink out from the other end to taste the bitterness if you want to, but like it's just so creative, so fun. And of course they've got music on, which is always a big plus. The vibe is very intimate. They've got really low lighting, nice candle situation. Although I have not been there like at 2 a.m. in the morning. I've only been there for more of a dinner evening time situation. My friend and I, we did not stay very long at all because it was just, it was very coupley vibes and everyone there was very clearly on a date. We left after like 2 or 3 drinks, which is, to be honest, still a long time just because it was like very, very nice. One thing I would say though is absolutely do not go on an empty stomach. They do have like things to nibble on, but like I'm talking like cheese, crackers, like grapes. I don't know, and they're like tiny portion sizes when it comes to food. They don't have anything hot. I think they just don't have a hot kitchen, and period. So you're definitely there for drinks and the vibes. Like I mentioned before, I'll definitely go again even though I don't drink anymore because the mocktails are so immaculate as well. And prices wise, I think mocktails are from £10 and cocktails are anything between £12 to £16, which is like on par with drinks in restaurants, so I'd say it's pretty fair for what it is. Alright, okay, enough about bars and drinking. Let's move on to our third restaurant, which is Pachamama East. Again, I have no idea if I'm saying that right. There's no way there are other pronunciation of this word. It's again a Peruvian restaurant. This one is located just between Old Street and Shoreditch. I would personally say it's situated in a fairly quiet neighbourhood, but don't let that fool you, it's so loud inside. Not in a clubby sense of loud, but like they've got really relaxed, friendly, energetic vibes going on in there. I've seen quite a lot of people on dates there, but it's also very, very welcoming for people who are just dining by themselves. Again, we have a theme there. I spend too much time alone, honestly, but like I'm not complaining. I love eating out alone because you can get whatever you want. You don't need to compromise. You don't need to like coordinate with one another. Anyway, food wise, think you do have your sort of signature Peruvian. I think Peruvian are well known for their fresh ingredients and a wide variety of flavors, right? So you do have like your signature ceviche again. You also have your lamb skewers, your sort of fried pork ribs, and your cabbage sides. These are just things that comes to mind that I repeatedly see on Peruvian menus that I personally gravitate towards. Of course, they have vegan options going on. Based on flavors alone, I would say every Peruvian restaurant have their own little punch. It doesn't deviate too much from what's in your mind, but they definitely have their own twists and turns, and I think both Senõr Ceviche and Pachamama East are very worth visiting. Although if you have to pick one or the other, I'd say based on vibes. Although both are very energetic, Pachamama is slightly more romantic and formal. And prices wise, I would say be prepared to spend £50 plus, and it really should be on par with the other restaurants that I've mentioned in this video. It's just my mind is slightly biased because every time I went, I've not been there too many times, but every time I go I would spend like well over £100 for myself, but this was before I went sober, so every time I think I had more than 4 drinks, and that obviously really skewed the prices. I do think if you're being intentional, you can easily keep it within £30–40. I'd say no problem. I just always felt way too comfortable spending money there. I think, not gonna lie, that probably also contributed to why I stopped drinking altogether. Anyway, moving on to number 4, I think. Yes, number 4. Eve Kensington. Their website is evekensington.com, I'm pretty sure. I need to double check that. But I'm pretty sure now they've renamed themselves to Eve times or collab proper slice. They are transitioning into more of a pizza joint concept, although their interior design is absolutely impeccable. I think that is what drew me to go there in the very first instance. They also have live music for brunches. I don't know if they still do. I've been there twice for brunch, once and also for dinner. Both time with the friends this time. Oh my god, the vibe is really cozy and the interior design is so fabulous. It's just the perfect spot for like long catch-ups with friends. Outside of meal times, they are also just like a coffee place, and they are very friendly with people staying there for hours on their laptop and iPads. I've seen a lot of students going there to get work done, so it's also a great study spot. I know you won't be rushed there if you plan to do that. And just imagine getting your like math homework done in a really comfy velvet armchair. That's amazing. If you think being part of a hotel means their food is meh, you're so wrong. Both of the times I've been there, I never had high expectation of the food because I was more just excited about catching up with my girlfriends, but the food is so good. Like, you really stop for a moment and like appreciate the food. There's nothing crazily special about their menu, I'd say, but like just order anything, everything is good, and the food comes piping hot, which is how I like it. But I would personally argue that the dinner was, like, from a food perspective, the dinner was better than the brunch. It was my first time trying rooibos tea, which I believe is of South African origin. It was really nice and caffeinated, tasted really good. It reminds me of like sticky rice, the smell. I really liked it. So I'd say what sets Eve apart is the impeccable interior design, the really cozy vibes, more on the quiet end. If I can't think of a place to go with a close friend and we're expected to do a long catch up, I'd schedule it there. Finally, we've come to number 5, which is my all-time favorite. It's Delaunay. Oh my god, there's so much to say about it. That's your classic all-day European dining experience, and the menu is Austrian. I just love this place so much. I would comfortably go by myself, especially when I'm coming out of a rut, just as a pick me up, sort of meal, but also my family would go there for all sorts of occasions like birthdays, graduations. We went there on the Friday night after my first week of ever working. And location-wise, it's a perfect pre-theatre spot. You can get a booking at 5 and then comfortably have a meal and go to your theatre like 7:30, 8. One thing that's really magical about it is you think it's very busy, and it is very busy all of the time, but they always have a table, which is like one thing I absolutely love about it. Although if you are expecting to go to a theatre afterwards, I will encourage you to book still, just so you have more of a peace of mind. And I would also encourage you to tell them so that they can prioritize getting your dishes out and so you don't miss your theatres. But like generally every time that I've been, even if I haven't had a booking, they always have a table, and it's just so nice. There are a few restaurants in the area that I feel the same way about, but I'll save that for a part 2 perhaps. They have a doorman and a cloakroom and everything, but it makes you feel really settled once you're seated and you feel so comfortable. It's one of those places, you know, a lot of the places, even if the service is really nice, nobody rushes you, you just sort of want to finish your food and leave. But with Delaunay, I would want to linger, and I love people watching there. It's so vibrant, but at the same time, I think it's something about their interior design, the decor, or like the way the tables are spaced out and arranged. I don't know how they do it, but it creates this illusion of privacy even though you're just in this huge room. The whole restaurant is loud when it's busy, and it's always busy, but it's intimate at the same time, which is almost like a juxtaposition. And oh, it's also featured in the Netflix short series, The Anatomy of a Scandal. I love that show, and I should fact check this, but I'm pretty sure like I instantaneously recognized it. And you know, they have very recognizable features like the decor, the clock, and how they have glass shields above the couches to sort of create some separation between the tables, but not blocking the view on the whole. It's like very recognizable. I'm pretty sure I haven't just made that up. In terms of their signature dish, I think I've already mentioned the menu is Austrian. I'd say honestly everything on the menu tastes delicious. I can't say I've tried everything though, because especially the sausages, I'm not a big stuffed meat person, but everything I've tried tastes absolutely phenomenal, and I've tried like almost everything, I'd say. Oysters are so good. I'd say if I have to recommend one thing, I'd say it's the chicken schnitzel. It's so crispy, it's huge, it's honestly like as large as like a proper silver plate, but it's really, really thin. That's when you know they know what they're doing, and it tastes so good. I don't order it very frequently just because it's like a big heavy piece of fried food, but honestly, I'd encourage you to go for it and try it, and I do occasionally crave it. In terms of prices, honestly, I'd say it's super affordable for what it is, and I'd say their mains, entrees for any American audiences. I've had trouble with that in the past when I visited the US. I mean, their mains are anything between 15 to 30 pounds. One thing is, I've never been for breakfast or brunch, and I heard they do amazing food for breakfast and brunch, and I can imagine it'd be a really nice start to your day. The thing is, you're getting really good service and food, but you feel so comfortable at home, and I think that's the charm of it. And I really love celebrating big occasions in life there, because it's always so memorable. And you know, family gatherings can be very tricky, but I think Delaunay creates the perfect vibe, and it strikes the right balance between intimacy and liveliness. I'd almost say it's both at the same time. They also have a private dining venue at the back. They do have a minimum spend for that, but again, I think for the sheer quantity of people, it would again be very manageable to achieve. I thought about having my birthday there last December, but I honestly just don't have that many friends. We're talking about like 20 to 50 people in terms of like what makes sense for the venue size and the minimum spend. And yeah, I just unfortunately don't have that many friends. We really have a reoccurring theme here. I need to stop saying that and just like saying the opposite to manifest having more friends. But anyways, it's okay. I do have friends, it's just not all of them are in London at the moment. So I didn't end up booking anything, and I don't know what the private venue looks like, but they have a dedicated team for events organization, like working out the menu and logistics and everything. I'm sure if you have more inquiries about it or just want to view the venue in person, they'd be able to accommodate that. I mean, don't take my word for it, but like, I'm getting the fact that they have a separate team, I think they can make that happen. Anyways, I've been yapping for over an hour. I don't know how long the video will be, but I hope it's somewhat digestible, and I still have so many places that I love in London that I haven't mentioned. I can't believe I didn't mention any like Spanish tapas places, Italian restaurants, or Chinese restaurants for that matter. I'm Chinese if you haven't realized already, so my taste buds are well trained as a kid, and you can trust me on this. I'm thinking I can also do like special editions for study spots around London or vegan restaurants, or just organize them by area. For example, do one recommendation just for Covent Garden, say, or West London. Let me know which restaurants that I mentioned today are particularly of interest to you and you think you'll visit if you haven't already. This is mostly just me yapping, but I still hope you somewhat enjoy the video. If you did, please do consider giving this video a like and also subscribe to my channel. Any engagement at all would honestly really help my tiny teeny channel in reaching more lovely people like you. And thank you so much for watching. Until next time.
We are looking at how to pronounce the name of this type of tea from South Africa.